Welcome to the Nebula Theater cast. How are y'all doing? With me, I got the beautiful Santi shirt.
Oh.
Are you gonna say anything?
But you're introducing us. You said I'm me. I say hi, so they put a voice to the name, and now you introduce Zoro. That's how this works.
Oh, I didn't hear you say hi. It must have cut out on Discord for some reason.
I mean,
then
both
we
of you are
have-
laughing your asses off right now. Like,
I wonder why. And we got Zoro.
yo,
Today we'll be looking at a bunch of elemental matchups that were pitched. Oh my god, pitched to us. Oh, my brain is so frazzled today. That were submitted on our Discord for the elemental theme.
Oh, yeah.
Why is don't know above Hold on. There we go.
I don't know. You're the one who modified it.
Suggestion, real quick, for your web browser. Go to your three dots and make it zoomed in 150%.
It is.
It's 150% right now.
Yes.
Do 200%. There
Like
we go.
that?
Hooray!
Now it just looks a little better on stream.
Yeah, we won't see any more potentially weird ads on the sidebar.
Oh, I already cut those off. Don't worry about that. No, I won't be taking a gay test today. No. Anyway.
I'm sorry for everyone. I've ruined it because I didn't realize the stream was a different format. We have to go back to what it was before. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm the problem. I'm causing delays. I'm sorry.
It says Sherm, your mic is too low. I'll turn you up on my end.
Can you hear me, Plan?
That's better. That's better.
Am I quiet to you, or am I loud to you?
You were kind of quiet, but I turned you up on my end as well, so it's okay. Anyway, let's just get right into it. Very first matchup. I'm just gonna place it here so it's in the thing. Don't tell me I'm fucking putting it too low.
You have to zoom back out again.
Why?
Because I ruined it. I was looking at the Discord, so it looks good on Discord now, but now it looks bad on stream because I didn't realize they were different things.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Sherm, you're killing me. We're actually killing me.
I am, and I'm apologizing for it. You're totally in the right that I'm ruining it. I will do my best to not do that anymore after this.
Yeah, or you're fired. Anyway, Groudon versus Kyogre. Kyogre versus Chaos. Jesus, my brain today.
Now, I love this matchup.
I also have very good things to say about this matchup. Like, basic connections for those unaware. Just basically two primordial deities whose main shtick is flooding shit. Chaos has a little more going on in his background, being like originally a Chow from the Chow Garden, and then, you know, after the echidnas kind of go crazy against it, it kind of turns into this water being and then goes a bit off the rails. And Kyogre, he's a nature deity from Pokemon who's just always beefing with Groudon, the land deity, and when they fight, the world itself is at risk, so that's fun.
I like this.
You go first.
I was just liking how they both kind of have this thematic of, like, man growing egotistical and cocky and summoning forces beyond their control, and then they almost destroy the world in a watery torrent until the protagonist comes in to save the day. And I like that thematic. I think we kind of played into that both with the analyses and the overall vibe of the fight of just this apocalyptic watery ruin.
I think it's very interesting, although I will say I've never played Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Well, I played it, but I never finished it. And I hear that Kyogre has a new form in it. Does that change anything? Does that make him, like, notably stronger?
Oh,
I mean, he has Primal Reversion, which is basically Mega Evolution with just a different name. Which is his, like, you've probably at least seen pictures of it. That's like his blue glowy form where he, like, looks a lot darker blue and has, like, those yellow spots. I think it's actually his Primal Reversion on the thumbnail. It makes him a little bit bigger and gives him like a mega evolution buff in strength, but it doesn't give him any like new scaling lore wise. So it should just be like a similar debate as before. All it really does is it's honestly a more interesting thing for Perfect Chaos, because I think you can have like the smaller main iconic Chaos fight normal Kyogre, and that's fine because Kyogre is massive, but he's not like so massive that that version of Chaos couldn't do anything. And then you can have the primal Kyogre fight Perfect Chaos, and I think that's a pretty natural escalation.
I think this matchup's really cool.
Yeah, like ironically, I think that's one thing that kind of holds me back a little is like the trying to figure out the choreography with Little Chaos, because like Kyogre doesn't really increase size, so I feel like a lot of it is just like smaller Chaos just kind of escalating and just waiting for the big sea kaiju battle. But I do love the big sea kaiju battle.
Well, Kyogre, when he's like that's the whole like joke about Godzilla versus Groudon, is Groudon's only like 15 feet tall. Like Kyogre's not all that much bigger than normal Chaos. So like the fight it wasn't that weird, I don't think.
He said, "Wait, this is a god." I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or not, asking if saying Arceus is the only god. Arceus is the creator, but he created gods. And primal or not primals? What are they called? They're the legendaries
The
and
Creation Trio?
yeah, the creation trio. Um, but I think overall our team really vibes for this matchup, as well as this one. I would say Korra versus Delson.
Oh, wait, are we not going to give it a score?
Oh, I put it in amazing.
You didn't even consult us on tier placement?
You all said it was an amazing. Okay, where do you guys think it should be placed?
Well, I would give it a 5.
I was just gonna go great.
Oh, you want to do this like last time, where you all give it a grade and you kind of find a middle ground. I say it's amazing. Streamer says it's amazing. You say it's great. So that's amazing.
All right.
It'd be amazing, yeah.
Look, it's all about the process, Plime. It's about the process.
All right, Korra versus Delson. I really like this.
This makes sense to me. Yeah, it's good.
How many people have actually played the game that Delson's from?
I have. I love Infamous Second Son. And the thematics are a little weird, but like outside of that, like I can see why people like it. You know, you got the 4 elements coming in from both sides. Both of them just kind of have that rebellious punk attitude about them. There's a lot of cool interactions you can do because like both of them have like powers related to like some form of like earth and fire, you know, Delson having like concrete and smoke. But then like Delson has like the weirder stuff like digital, which allows them to like create basically video game constructs of angels or devils, creates these swords and claws and neon, which one of my favorite abilities in any video game, just like the super speed, climbing up walls, lasers, bubbles that just slow people down. Like, there is a lot of cool things you could do with the choreography with this one.
This is the fight I thought they were going to announce when they did Korra versus Storm, and I was so fucking excited. And then it was Korra versus Storm.
There's also an interesting, like, subtle ability that both of them have, because, like, Korra kind of has, like, access to, like, the spirit bending, kind of, from, like, Aang. And then Delson, he also absorbs new powers by physical contact. So it would be interesting looking at it in seeing if Delson's like conduit spongeness could take anything from Korra's powers with like the spirit bending and like energy stuff.
From what I understand, it's DNA that's based on it.
Yeah.
It's like in altering their DNA. It would all depend on if they can bend stuff based on their DNA or if it's like I don't know, like an energy system that's like separate from their own bodies. Is how.
Yeah, we'd have to look at like
You
how
can
the
inherit
avatars.
bending, but it is mostly like a chi thing. Like it gets chi blocked to prevent you from bending it. Lion turtles manipulate your chi to give you bending or take it away. I would be very surprised if you could take any of that away just with DNA manipulation, but You know.
I don't know. Like Delson doesn't take away powers when he touches
Or
other
like
people.
he would steal the powers is what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
this is
wouldn't.
like a good solid matchup if you wanted to do like an infamous second Sun rep. This is probably one of the more popular ideas.
Now I'm gonna say great because it doesn't have as big thematic connections, but the fight is like amazing itself, so it's just bumped a little lower for me.
I would
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
give it a good, personally.
I'm leaning more towards great, but I could go either way. But I'm leaning great just because the fight would be fun.
That would still be great.
Crash Bandicoot versus Donkey Kong. Don't know. No, I'm kidding.
Now,
So-
the element we're talking about with this matchup is the element of life from Skylanders.
Which is basically planned in a very thinly veiled connection just so that it technically qualifies here.
And we almost didn't put this matchup in the tier list. But we like
All right.
you, so we gave it a pass. But you're on
All right.
with this one.
We're gonna talk about it as a matchup in general, and then we're gonna go into why it doesn't work as an elemental fight.
Well, I mean, why it works is it doesn't work as an elemental fight. It's just because they don't fight using the elements, really.
It does. I mean, they do throw vegetables and fruits at each other, so it is kind of an elemental fight.
If we did it as an
guns that shoot coconuts and fruits, so it's the element is fruit.
all right, so if we do the elemental variation, it's basically just two animals shooting fruit out of guns at each other for the entire fight.
Yeah.
And limiting the main things they do, which is platforming and punching each other.
That's not how any of this works, but if you
I will say this matchup is really peak. I really like it. Crash gets kind of stomped on the ground, but that's okay. But because of the theming and the fact that it doesn't really fit in kind of how you look at it, I would say good is where I would personally place it.
Are we actually giving it a demerit in terms of the actual tier list because of it's barely fitting within the theme?
Oh yeah, this is an elemental themed tier list. This is not a how much we like each matchup in general tier list.
Yeah,
I love Crash versus Donkey Kong. We, like you said, we have rules. I'm following the rules now. You gotta follow the rules now.
Yeah, and it's
I feel like once they have been approved, like he got the job, we saw the application, then they're like, all right, we're gonna let it slide. We can't discriminate now that they're in the tier list. Once they're in the tier list, they're in the tier list. We gotta give them their fair shake.
If they wanted them,
they are.
Okay, look, sure. If they submitted this because they wanted us to talk about it as an elemental matchup. If they didn't want us to ream it for not following the rules that we laid out, then that's on them for choosing to submit this one over a more thematic topic. I'm gonna put this one in
To be fair, Pin in his comment, he was like, "Well, technically, this way." Like he even knew that it was kind of bullshit.
Well, I'm gonna say it's a great matchup. So that means it's total of 2 points, which would be
okay or good.
That'd be good.
Okay.
No, you put in okay. It's in good.
It's in good.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Okay, whatever. The actual matchup itself is really fun though. Again, like you said, they have they shoot coconut guns. They have bazooka. Crash has a bazooka that shoots Wumpa fruit. DK can punch his way into the ground and throw pieces of the ground at someone, which is an element. And Crash can burrow into the ground and pop back out, although I think it has to be soft ground. They both have some types of hand-to-hand combat, although Donkey Kong probably wins. And Crash's, I don't know, would you give him his elemental masks from Crash 4?
I don't.
Yeah, if Donkey Kong gets insane scaling, I feel like you need the quantum masks just to
Well,
help them
the
keep
quantum
up.
masks are very, very situational. The world essentially has to be falling apart in order for them to really be viable. It's very not his equipment, which is why I ask.
I feel like you'd include it in the debate and at least have one of them show up. Plus, like, it makes for an interesting setup for the fight because, Donkey Kong faced one of those weird tiki masks before, so he could just see one of, like, either Aka Aka or, like, one of the Quantum masks with Crash, mistake him for the tikis he fought, and it's like, oh, now it's time to throw some hands.
Alright, I think it is a good placement to put this.
Yeah, like, I would rank it higher if it followed the prompt.
Elsa versus... It's a little cut off, but I'm assuming that's Jack Frost from Legend of the Guardian?
Yep,
from Rise of the Guardians.
Rise of the Guardians.
That is Jack Frost.
Someone give me the skinny, because I actually don't know either of these characters, really.
Alright, so Elsa is a princess who, through unknown means that was later revealed in the second movie to be because of her mother having a connection to the elemental spirits. She got ice powers as a kid, and she accidentally hurt her sister as a child, almost froze her to death, and so she hid away her powers for her entire life until she accidentally, in an emotional outburst, because her sister was getting taken advantage of by a man, she revealed her powers and then ran away. People tried to hunt her down, and eventually it was a whole movie about shame and self-acceptance. And she also accidentally froze a whole country and turned summer into winter. So she's pretty powerful. She creates life. She's got all sorts of powers. She can arguably summon the elemental spirits, but that could border on outside help in the second movie. Jack Frost was a kid who died in a frozen lake after trying to save his sister. But then the moon saved his life and turned him into Jack Frost, the mythological entity. No one can see them unless they believe in him, so most people aren't able to see him after they grow up. Even if they have proof of seeing him, they just kind of forget over time. He joins a group of other characters like Santa and Easter Bunny, and basically kind of like saves the world like they're a superhero team. He fights Pitch Black, which is the boogeyman. It's interesting because the main connection is that they are like animated ice themed characters that kind of bring winter, and they add character arcs.
Well, hold on. I think that's doing a little disservice of they had arcs. One of the other ones is like both of them learn to control their powers by embracing their more positive emotions. Elsa, familiar connection and love, and Jack Frost embodying his aspect of a guardian being fun and mischief.
That is true.
Which I think adds another cool layer of pun. Adds a good layer to this. Like I really like this one thematically. I haven't seen Frozen 2, so I'm not sure how creative Elsa gets with her ice powers upon controlling them, but I feel like this one would be really fun. I like them both for each other.
A floating shopping list is bringing up Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons. That takes me back. That whole era was a trip.
How are you guys feeling on it?
I think the thematics are a little stretched, but the character comparison does make sense from like a meta perspective.
Yeah, I like it. I wouldn't say it's like one of the best matchups of all time, but it definitely has a lot more positive. So I'm gonna put this at great.
I don't know whether I want to put an or okay.
Really? Huh,
I'm kind of just thinking like the connections really aren't speaking to me, so really it's just like the meta aspect for me, which is, I guess, like another thing is like Elsa is not nearly as much of a combatant as Jack is, because Jack Frost like flies around, like hits stuff with his staff and shoots ice blasts, and Elsa is much more just kind of her magic is very powerful but not very combat oriented. I'll put it in okay. I won't be. Let's not get crazy here.
All right, yeah. All right, that's fair.
To you. That'll put it in just good, because I don't know anything. I don't want to throw my hat in.
You're just going to meet us in the middle here?
Yeah.
All right.
This one I'm going to put at don't know, because I doubt any... It's been years since I've experienced anything counter side. Oh, you did?
And I could not find anything.
Honkai Star Rail a lot of people may know that I am a fan of Genshin, but I've never actually explored anything outside of that. In terms of their other universes. But I'll read what he said just so I can give it some kind of love. It's Jake Walker versus Acheron, counterside versus Honkai Star Rail. He said, the strongest counter of Delta 7 in the world versus the drifting self-proclaimed Galaxy Ranger. The Stormbringer of State of 1 versus the Emanator of 9, or IX. These two are the top of the top. The lightning that is called to end those who get in the way. Let the sparks fly when these two clash to see which of the two will find the true calm after the storm. It sounds cool.
Oh, it definitely sounds cool. I wish I knew more about these guys.
Normally we wouldn't put matchups we didn't know in, but people said they'd rather it be briefly mentioned than not included at all, so that's what I did.
We're testing it out.
Yeah.
Testing the waters. Much like the next matchup we have.
I actually want to skip around to this one real quick. Is this one of you guys that submitted this?
Oh, the water one, yeah.
Oh,
Jack Frost
versus Jason. I submitted this one.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I kind of want to know the difference, like why this one would be better than the other one, or worse.
Okay. So, first off, do you know anything about who Jason Grace is?
Nope.
He is... Percy Jackson is the book series. They had a sequel series called Heroes of Olympus. Jason Grace is the son of Jupiter, otherwise known as Zeus. He is a demigod with electric powers. In the beginning of Heroes of Olympus, he actually had amnesia because he was sent on a quest by a goddess and didn't want him to know anything about his past life because that would complicate things. It's like a weird... It takes long to explain. The point is he has amnesia. That's what's important here. Jack Frost also had amnesia. He didn't remember his past when he turned into Jack Frost. The general idea with Jason Grace versus Jack Frost is that they both can fly around, control the wind, control storms. The big difference is Jack Frost has like ice powers and he'll like freeze and blast people with ice, create snowstorms. Jason, as a son of Zeus, is more focused on like lightning and rain and that kind of stuff. So it'd be like they're both fighting inside of a storm, but it's like a fight over whether it's more electricity or frozen. I think there's some cool connections, but I would say like the big difference between this and Jack Frost versus Elsa is they both have a much more natural fight dynamic. Like you would have staff versus sword combat. They would both be flying through the air because Elsa can't fly, but both these characters can fly around. They can like shoot their elemental blasts at each other. They can like get stabbed or like swung or like crashed into the ground when their superhuman stats will make that not feel weird. I just think the fight feels a lot better and is much cooler. I didn't mention this with Jack Frost versus Elsa, but I'd also just love to cover Rise of the Guardians, both the movie and the books.
Croat Cajun said that imagine an ice storm versus a thunderstorm. Would that be an accurate description, Sherm?
Yeah, because they both create storms, but one is a Zeus-like storm and one is a Jack Frost-style storm. So you know.
Yeah, no.
That sounds awesome. I would throw that.
This is an amazing for me. This is a 5. An amazing.
All right, yeah, I'm putting it in great. Just the only thing keeping it from amazing is my lack of familiarity. But like, I like how they play into the elemental theming of like 2 storms going in, but all different enough so that there's a bit. It definitely has a better dynamic than Elsa versus Jack Frost. And yeah, just it sounds really cool.
And to complete the trifecta, we're gonna go Michael Vey versus Jason Grace. I also don't know who Michael Vey is.
Does anyone know who Michael Vey is besides me?
I do not know either of these guys.
I do know Michael Vey. Michael Vey is... Alright, so here's the primary connections. These are both book characters that came out at a similar time. So if you read these in high school, you were like, oh, I want to compare these characters. It's a real Maze Runner Hunger Games situation. But anyway, Michael Vey's whole thing is... It's a world where... I think it's actually a lot like the Infamous world where there's some experimentations, evil corporations, evil government... a lot of people get like electricity powers and some other various kind of powers, and he was in a hospital accident when he was a baby. Got electricity powers that he didn't tell anyone until he was about 9, where he accidentally killed his dad with electricity by stopping his heart, real rough. And then he and his mom had to go on the run. This is kind of interesting because Michael has like a lot of very varied electricity powers and can do a lot of cool things. He can kind of like he can do all sorts of like absorbing electricity, shooting out electricity. He can kind of magnetize himself to like climb on metal walls like he's Spider-Man. So I think you can do some cool things with maybe he tries to climb on walls and he kind of like magnetizes himself to like thrust him closer to or away from metal walls. So I can kind of play off the flight. I'd say like the big weakness is he doesn't really have a good way to play off the sword. But like it could be cool to like see. There's one time where he absorbs a lightning bolt, and that empowers him enough to like release a nuclear blast, basically. I think the dynamic isn't perfect, but it can be made to work. I would also say the biggest issue with this is the lack of visual materials. This is one of the covers of the books, and that's about as good as they get. We always get it in like silhouette. There is rumors about like a movie or a TV show being worked on. So if that happens, this might be like a 4 for me. But as it is, because the visual material is so lacking, this is like I can only put it on good at best just because of practical limitations.
Yeah, I think
probably
good.
Put it there too.
Yeah, I'm agreed too. Like good
across the board.
Yep.
Next we get into Sidon versus what's that guy's name?
Rikuo.
Yeah, Rikuo from Darkstalkers.
Yep, this is one of my matchups. Alright, so these ones are very simple thematically. Both are fishmen who are responsible for ruling their kingdoms. Sidon, who in the second of the Breath of the Wild games becomes one of the leaders of the Zora, and Rikyo being, the leader of his merfolk. And both are just very charismatic fishmen who really care about their people and just want the best for their societies, which is saying something, as most of the Darkstalkers aren't usually as chill as Rikyo is. And thematics are simple, but you don't really need to go deep with these two characters. And the fight would just be really fun. Obviously, both of them are very aquatic fighters. You could have them fighting in the water. Sidon has his water manipulation abilities with, like, the bubble shield. He also has spheres that he's constantly seen using in combat. And Rikyo, he doesn't really have a weapon, but his main gimmick, aside from doing similar water stuff, is that he's kind of shape-shifts his entire body to take on characteristics of other aquatic people. Like, he can pull out octopus tentacles. There's a move where he turns his arms into crustacean arms. His dark mode allows him to summon basically a flood, and he surfs on a fish to attack people with. So yeah, it'd just be a lot of I feel like this one would also be just great just because you have these two just very gentlemanly fish people just going at it to each other. So I feel like this would be one of those ones where it's realistically they'd be friends, but they're just complimenting each other the entire time. It'd be a really good lighthearted fight episode.
Does the Darkstalkers guy have anything interesting to talk about, story-wise or lore-wise, or is he kind of just, a cool mermaid guy?
He's kind of just a cool mermaid guy. I think he has more stuff in, the extended material, the cartoon and the manga, but he doesn't really have too much relevance in, the greater arc, like Morgan or Jada. He does have a running gag within, the Darkstalkers community, because, in the cartoon, there is a running gag where it's and you will never defeat me, even though you are weirdly attractive for a fish man. So that's basically what people say every time he's on screen.
Is that the primary theme, they're weirdly attractive fishmen?
No, that is not the primary theme. It's just a gag that I felt noteworthy enough to bring it up because, memes.
Iron arriving killed his entire race. That's a real bummer. That sucks.
That sucks.
Because he tried to kill Azor a couple times, but he didn't succeed in either of the games. So
depends on the timeline, but not his game.
At the very least, not Sidon's version of the Sora.
Yeah. Although Riki, like, by the time the third game goes on, like, he does kill a lot of them, but, like, it doesn't get, they got better.
Okay.
So, where do you think you would put... I know Zoro's probably a 5.
Yeah, because bias.
How about you?
I kind of want to, similar to the other OKs, I feel like it's just a very okay matchup. I think it's a matchup that makes a good amount of sense. I wouldn't say there's a ton of thematics that are pulling me towards it in an interesting way, but it's definitely not like bad. But I would say like, it's an okay matchup. It's cool.
Honestly, that's fair. Like, there are definitely like Darkstalker matchups that are higher priority than this. This is just, as far as elemental ones goes, this is a pretty good one.
Not to get too meta with it, but that is kind of a question I was wondering, is like, would I want to do this over other Darkstalker or Zelda ideas?
No, that's entirely fair. This is definitely not something we do first, but more like something we explore later down the line.
So versus Bewilderbeast.
I love this idea.
Y'all wanna analysis 1 minute each for both of them?
What?
Because Simo and so Simo is from Godzilla versus Kong, whatever that most recent movie was called, and Bewilderbeast is from the How to Train Your Dragon movies. They are not characters so much as they are set pieces, more or less. Wait, which Bewilderbeast is this? Is this Valka's or Drago's?
I have.
It doesn't specify.
I might just be looking at the species as a whole.
I guess if we were to approach it like a nature documentary, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I just think we know these guys just aren't characters. They're kind of just like, they are plot devices that do a thing. I guess they have stories, but their stories are very like more focused on the events around them as opposed to them specifically. Oh, wait. Pause. I need to hold myself. The connection suddenly clicked in my head. Simo was enslaved by the Scar King, and the Bewilderbeast was enslaved by Drago. Okay, that makes more sense to me now. There's still not a lot to talk about, but at least there's a connection now. Okay, now I see.
All right.
Now I see why they're compared specifically, besides just being... Oh, also they shoot ice. That's the element. They have ice.
Yeah. Just think about this. Giant ice dragon kaiju fight. Doesn't that sound cool?
I mean, it sounds about as cool as any other kaiju fight.
How would you rate it?
I'm gonna put it in great, just because I'm a sucker for giant monsters fighting each other.
Would I be a jerk if I said Because it's just like, why would we cover these two characters in particular? Like, we talk about, of any Godzilla character, Simo? And of any How to Train Your Dragon character, the Bewilderbeast?
Okay, but like, if we're looking at this in a vacuum, it's a cool idea.
I would say in a listen, something to keep in mind. We do have to consider the scale here. Are we going to really say it's as good as anything in even the good tier? Are we going to say Simo versus Bewilderbeast is just as valid as Crash versus DK?
Alright, he's got...
I don't know.
I'm going to put this in okay.
Right,
I feel like...
Using math, that would be yeah, it's in the okay tier then, if you put it...
Yeah, it'd average out an okay. I mean, good. Yeah, I don't know. My mind's not entirely here right now.
Oh, I feel you. Oh god, what's her name?
Frost versus Azula?
Yes, that one.
So I unironically kind of love this idea. I'm surprised I never heard of it before, but I think this actually makes a lot of sense. It sounds really cool to me.
Okay, explain, because I'm having trouble seeing the vision with this one, if I'm being honest.
Well, these are both people that were... Like, first off, it's an ice versus fire fight. Frost with her ice powers, Azula with her fire powers. These are like two girls that they aspired to greatness, where like Ozai was kind of grooming her to be like one of the greatest firebenders ever. Frost, on the other hand, kind of wanted to achieve the greatness on her own without really being groomed for it, and she thought like Sub-Zero was holding her back. I think it's really interesting because they both have extremely similar motivations, even if the way they got there is a little different. What really? So here's the thing: I'm the one Frost fan in the world of Bridge. I've never seen anyone else like Frost except for me. I think her story has a lot of potential and is really cool. And I think comparing it to Azula is also really cool, because I think Frost and Azula are both blatantly evil characters, but I think it'd be cool to examine how they became evil and the situation around their backstories that led them to this example. I also think it works a lot better than a lot of other Mortal Kombat versus Avatar ideas, because Frost is a lot more, like, elementally attuned over hand-to-hand for the most part, especially compared to someone like Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is a lot of ninja stuff with ice additional stuff, whereas Frost is mostly ice powers with some hand-to-hand stuff thrown in there. I think it's really cool. Honestly, I kind of really like this idea. I'm like talking myself more into it. Azula's just a super dope character. Frost has a lot of potential I'd love to talk about. I think they compare very well. I think the parallels offer a lot of interesting things to talk about. I kind of want to do this now. Like I've been very negative this tier list so far. This might be like an amazing for me. I kind of love this idea now.
Okay, let's not get
Especially,
too
I also
crazy.
just love it because I never heard it before. But once I saw someone submit it, like I was like, "Hang on, you're cooking." I kind of love this.
He said, "Hold on."
I will give it this. I think
Maximum damage submitted. Maximum damage, you cooked. I like where your head's at.
All right, so I will say this. One thing I just thought, which would be cool for the dynamic, if we bring in, like, Cyborg Frost, I could see some fun stuff doing that with, like, Azula's lightning and how that would interrupt with her technology.
Yeah.
Although, I will say this, Frost is definitely not a Mortal Kombat character where I think of, like, out of all the Mortal Kombat characters we could cover, Frost is definitely not high on the list, but, like, I kind of get it. I'll put this at an okay.
I would put this at good, but I will say he does make a compelling point. You said before, why would we cover this character over anyone else? This is also another compelling. Why would you cover Frost before?
I mean, I'm just using the argument he made against him, so.
That is all true. I will say it's a 5 for me. I think I'm the only Frost fan to exist.
I'm gonna put it in
averaging
good.
our answers, that would be a good, yeah.
All right. Father versus Millions Knives. Somebody send me a connections list to this shit because I need to see it. I don't get it off the top of my head.
I mean, I'm sure read you what Mug said in the Discord, which is, they're manipulative, misanthropic, and megalomaniacal blonde artificial villains of acclaimed anime/manga about the importance of human connection in an uncertain world. After an early life in isolation, held captive by humans for their use of their supernatural power, they break free of their confines in a cataclysmic historical event, and spend centuries on a grand plan to absorb the life forms on the planet they inhabit in hopes of wiping out humanity and attaining godhood, all while coming into conflict with their pacifistic and equally immortal blood relative. Just for certainty, they both have control over the elements, plant life for Knives, and alchemy and fire manipulation for Father.
Alright. So, thematically, I really like this one. Like, kind of has, like, the similar vibes to, like, Father Bellows, where it's, like, these very rooted villains who are, like, spending a very long time in order to, like, get these machinations off the ground, obtain godhood. Very nice. I have not seen Trigun, but for what I'm seeing, this is really great. This might
be...
Oh, go ahead, Plime.
Sorry. this might be me not remembering the manga as much, but I feel like there's a few things wrong there in that list you just read me, because granted, again, manga I'm less familiar with than the anime. Knives was not held captive by anybody. They were raised as children, and they were discriminated against for being not human, right? But it's not the same thing as being held captive. They still had like a caretaker who was, oh god, I can't remember her name, but like a mother figure that took care of them. And he was also the guy that started the cause. I don't think that's as comparable to father being literally kept in what was it, like a beaker or something like that.
Flask, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
they were
both seen as like subhuman.
I get the other parts, but that the whole part about being held captive, I was just like, that's not really what it is, unless the manga is completely different. But from the top of my head, I don't remember there being too much difference in their initial backstory. The new show is very different, and I have not seen it though, so it's possible it comes from there. But the whole thing with Knives is that they were on the ship, they were being taken care of by this person. Vash accepted human love, and Knives did not. Knives was very like kind of like psychotic in a way, and Knives is the one that started causing like a bunch of chaos, a bunch of the ship by manipulating and lying to people, and it's what caused people to start dying, like being shot, whatever, until he eventually escaped with Vash in an escape pod, and falling down to a planet. And then last minute he's like, oh, what the fuck, all the ships should have blown up because of what I was doing, but then the woman that was raising them saved a lot of people, whatever, and that's how they ended up on the desert world. I feel like that's so different from, and I also don't understand the absorbing people. I don't remember him absorbing people in that way either. He's just killing them. He does it like he's almost even not even there. The plants in Trigun don't work like they're not literal plants. They're used for energy. So they put them in these giant light bulb things, and it helps like give life to a town in this like otherwise desert world, right? They're like a collection of energy. It's not the same as like I don't think they're feeding on people. They are the source themselves. So that's just my hang up with it. It'd be funny to see Father get shot by a bullet, though. Just straight up bullet in the head.
But Father also can turn his hand into a gun, so they shoot each other with bullets, and they have a gun. That's the element. It's the gun element for this fight.
Yeah.
They just shoot each other. I think this just...
Is that what he
always...
said?
What?
No. Sorry.
No,
elements...
It's
okay.
plants versus fire. But
yeah.
I think gun element is the much funner way to interpret this.
Yeah.
I think this matchup, just in all the categories you could judge a matchup by, it's at least pretty good. I think even my hater ass would have a hard time putting it higher than good or lower than good.
I would probably say good too. A lot of thematics do work. It's just those ones I was hung up on.
I'd say good, but I do want to bring this up because I am being a stickler on this. Father manipulated fire for like half a second, holding his son before instantly losing it. He's not really an elemental combatant. I'm putting this in okay.
I mean, alchemy is kind of fundamental.
Hold on. Alchemy is
basically.
Alchemy itself is manipulating the elements, and I think that counts.
Of the periodic table, all the elements.
Yeah,
this is
that's
the
what
most
I mean.
elemental it's gotten so far.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, I will put it in good then.
And Knives is plant, so he is energy, and energy can be technically. If you really
okay, when you put it like that, energy versus alchemy is a bit more of a thematic thing. You know what? Yeah, I'm feel more better and good, because I thought it was like, this guy has plants, and this guy kind of has fire, but when you put in like the energy versus alchemy, okay, that's an elemental comparison I can accept.
Alright. I think we're good with good, right?
Yeah. Oh, 1 second. What?
Marileona versus Yoruichi. This one's pretty good, I think. This is a very solid matchup.
I think this is also a little bit deeper than a lot of people think it is, like connections-wise.
Oh?
Because, so Marileona, by all intents and purposes, should be the leader of her faction, but she's not. She stepped down, and her brother is the leader of the faction because he would naturally just be a better leader, right? Yoriichi got exiled, quote unquote exiled after running away from Urahara, and essentially gave up her seat as the head of her household, and gave it to her brother, who now runs it. Both of their brothers still have a deep connection to them, both helping them in later fights, both trying to show each other up. On multiple occasions, Yoriichi's brother in the Thousand Year Blood War arc was trying to kind of show her how strong she is, and then Merleona and her brother are consistently kind of dick measuring competition. I don't know how you would say it. They're constantly trying to one up each other in every fight they're in together. And they're both are very special. Their specialty is hand to hand combat, whereas but combined with elements, Yoriichi can I can't remember what the arm thing is, but she can make wind appear around her arms to hit people really hard. Merleona uses a lot of flames on her fists to fight.
Yeah.
And then Yoriichi, I have no idea how they're gonna adapt it in the new one because her new form is kind of weird. So what happens in the manga is Urahara does something to her. I don't remember what.
Yes.
I can't remember if it's a syringe in her butt or something like that, or he does something to her, and
that sounds accurate for Bleach.
It turns her into this electric cat, and she acts like a cat. And all it's supposed to be a reference to the fact that she was a cat in the first arc that we see her in. But her body is now covered in electricity. And she fights with the electricity. So at the end of the fight, it would just be a woman who is covered in electricity attacking with a bunch of electricity versus a strong woman who is attacking physically with a lot of fire. And I think that's really interesting and fun. I don't know if Yoriichi can do this without a syringe in her butt, but still.
Here's what happens. Merleona punches her in the face. She gets knocked back into a building, and then we cut to her, and she's just full of syringes, and we just say oh, one of them was probably that one, and then that's how it happens. Pin has given us $10 to put.
Oh, hi, Pin.
DK Crash and Amazing, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with us being bought. I say
no. We are.
Hey,
we are not.
$10 is
we are not doing paid
revenue.
Guys.
Let's meet in the middle. I'll put it in great.
Are you seriously changing the results based on payment? What are we? What are we? Freaking EA? No. Put it back in its proper place right now.
Zoro, you can buy your own lunch. I want to put DK and Crash in Amazing. Alright, listen, hear me out. If we do this, then maybe more people will also give us money to... and then we can get a nice little racket going.
Where is the integrity?
They heard our opinions. This is a completely arbitrary list. What does it matter?
Where is your... No, if you put it somewhere, you have to commit!
No, we don't!
This is bullshit.
Okay, so I think this is great.
Yeah, I'd say Merleona is probably, I think it's probably great for me as well. I think I used to like Merleona just for versus Kenpachi just because I thought them fighting each other and match each other's energy would be fun, but Yoriichi probably makes more sense overall for more factors.
Yeah, more thematic, definitely.
All right, yeah, I'll put it in any of it. Yeah, something happened, but I caught most of it.
Okay.
Great.
Where are you gonna put it, Zoro?
He said great.
I just said great. Yeah.
Next is let me find the thing so I can figure
Gentry
out what
Chow versus Leah Fotia.
Thank you for having this up.
Yeah, we were not given a description for this one, I don't think.
So this matchup was brought up a bit in when Gentry Chow was the character for the day. And someone was like, Leo might work pretty good because they both have fire powers and kind of a similar story of being ostracized for what they are. And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And then earlier, since I was the one who kind of low-key suggested they should put in the elemental matchup list so we can talk about it more on stream, I looked up what Leo Fotia was, and I might have made a mistake because this is a Studio Trigger stuff, who has like fire mechs that can become the size of the planet. So it's like I don't know if Gentry Chow can really match that.
Oh,
but I haven't actually watched the movie, and from a couple of fight scenes, in general, Leo's a lot more grounded from a lot of the fights from what I'm seeing. So maybe that's like an end of movie power up that Leo wouldn't normally have. If it makes total sense to give Leo the planet-sized mechs, I'm not sure if we can put it all that high. But on the lower level, like early movie, I think both these characters have swords. They both have like fire powers. They have similar stories about being ostracized from society. Gentry Chow a little less public since it's like a secret story, like Percy Jackson style, whereas Leo's like very publicly experiencing discrimination. It's like the opposite of Fire Force, where it's firefighters with ice powers versus the rebellion that has fire powers. If the planet level stuff has to be given to them, then I think it might be like an or an okay. But if the scale is lower, I'd probably say it's like a good or maybe even higher.
Hmm.
What are the connections like, real quick?
So the general idea, if I remember correctly, is just because the thing they are both like they have like fire powers, and they both accidentally cause destruction because of those fire powers. And they are seen as a monster because of this. Gentry Chow is half demon, so that's like everyone who knows that is like, oh, you're a demon, you're a monster. Leo is something that's called a I don't remember what they're called, but they're seen as also a monster because they're like a discriminated against sect of society. I don't know either series super well, so it's hard for me to get more deeper connections than that, unfortunately.
All right. I mean, it sounds really cool. And we got to give Gentry
sounds
because
like
of our community.
I want to watch this show and watch this movie.
Yeah.
So I'll give it that. Even if you haven't convinced us it's a peak matchup, you have convinced me to watch these materials, which in some ways is a bigger win.
Yeah, because then that gives us more access to like delve deep and get invested in these characters. I feel bad because I feel like I really want to get into Gentry Chow just so I can understand like her spread better. But right now I'm just going to play it safe, and I'm going to say good.
I'm going to say I have a feeling that fire stuff is standard, in which case I think it would just be an okay for me. So I think we're balanced out at good.
Yeah, good is where it is. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because I just saw this. Zuko versus Scorpion, another Mortal Kombat avatar.
Now this might be a little hypocritical of me because I just sung the praises of Frost versus Azula. This matchup doesn't sound very good to me dynamically.
Wow, me and Sherm are just playing Fire and Ice today. Like, he loves the matchup, I don't like it. I like a matchup, he doesn't like it.
Do you like this, Zoro?
Yeah, I really like this.
Speak on it, maybe you'll convince me.
Alright, let me just pull up what the guy said in the fan chat, because I think that kind of... I was also, like, a little like, really? But then I kind of read it, and the thematics make sense. You know, it's a cool matchup of flames that tackle former antagonists that went on a path of destruction for great till they realized they were duped by the very person to guide them. Now on a path of redemption, Scorpion helps defend the mortal realm with his former rival Sub-Zero, while Zuko changes the Fire Nation from terrorist nation to peaceful society as a Fire Lord. And when I looked at that, I kind of looked more about both of them, and, you know, and I'm assuming for this one, we just exclude Mortal Kombat 1 Scorpion, because that messed up a lot of characters. But, you know, you get the two people who are just kind of misled, take their anger out, made peace with the ones who they were trying to kill in the first place. And their tool sets are actually very similar, because, like, Scorpion, he has the sword and he has the fire and the chains. Zuko is very well suited for both fire and sword combat. So you get sword-on-sword action, you get fire-on-fire combat. Both of them are even better at hand-to-hand combat. So, like, on the surface, like, they have good connections. They fight very similarly, and, you know, considering the scales of both shows, like, there is a good debate to have between these guys. Like, this has got to be, like, tied for one of my favorite Zuko matchups, and heck, even for Scorpion, too.
I think that you make a fair case, but I think there are just some issues with this matchup that I have a hard time getting over.
All right, what would those be? I'm curious.
You can't make Zuko fight 100% like Scorpion because there's things Scorpion can do that Zuko can't do. So to make it like a more balanced fight, you'd have to make Scorpion fight a lot more like Zuko, focusing a lot more on the pyrokinesis. I think he has a lot of weapons that are just like not, because Zuko uses his swords to have like really cool like fire manipulation like enhancers, and he also like fights against other weapon users. When Scorpion uses like a move, like he like stabs someone and like it leaves a huge bloody gash, or he'll like spear them and pull them closer to him. Like, he is much more violent and bloody with his swords than Zuko is with his. I don't really think there's a way to play off of like the more specific hell abilities. Like if he summons demons, or if he brings Zuko to hell, there's not much playing off of that. And I also just don't think their stories are really all that comparable, because Zuko's a story about someone being abused as a child, indoctrinated into a culture that he thinks that culture is great, but then by traveling the world and meeting all these people, he realizes he's wrong, and he takes the courageous step forward to oppose everything he's been raised to believe and change the world for better. Scorpion is a story of someone whose entire family has been killed, and then once he's become enraged by that, someone manipulates that rage and focuses it in the wrong direction. And his story ends with, once he learns that that was wrong, he then focuses that rage on the person that tried to manipulate him. There are certain similarities, but overall the stories, to me, strike me as very separated, and there's only like a couple of minor points of similarity, in my opinion. I just think in general, this is just a character comparison I have a really hard time getting behind.
Yeah, like, those are fair points. Like, I personally really vibe with it. Plus, I will say this, all things you said about, Scorpion being a bit too bloody and having to adjust, all those complaints can also apply to Azula versus Frost.
I knew you were going to say something like that. So I specifically watched a 10-minute video of all of Frost's fatalities, brutalities, and all that. They are not nearly, despite Frost being one of the more like evil characters, all of her stuff is like way more tame, because all of her most violent stuff would either be the killing blow where you're like frozen and then exploded, or you're just getting like stabbed by an icicle. Scorpion will like rip limbs off, and he will like tear your body apart. Like, Scorpion is way more visually violent than Frost is. I checked this specifically because I knew this would come up.
Alright. Like, personally, like, I like this for a Zuko match just as much as, like, Hunter versus Zuko. But, like, I feel like it does different things from Hunter Zuko that, so I like both equally for different reasons. So I'm going to put this one at amazing.
I'm going to put it at Koi.
Alright, so we've got a 1, a 2, and a 5, which brings us to 2.6. So it goes in the middle and good.
I'll put it right in the middle, just a little bit above it.
Also, Scorpion's completely immune to fire, so that also makes things tricky.
I am looking at these in a vacuum, good sir.
Kevin Levin versus Gajeel Red Fox. I don't know Gajeel Red Fox. I have never seen Fairy Tail.
He eats steel and can turn his body into steel.
Yeah. I've actually seen Fairy Tail. I can talk a bit about this one.
Go ahead.
So yeah, Gajiel's whole shtick is basically he uses dragon slaying magic, which is basically dragons teaching their magic to other non-dragons in order for them to kill dragons. It's weird, but just roll with it. Gajio's whole thing is that, he is iron dragon slaying magic, which allows him to turn his body into metal weapons, mostly, stuff like swords, turning his arm into like a giant steel pillar that he basically extends Luffy style to crush people. He can also get stronger by eating metal, and that increases like his attack power and his magic reserves. At some point, he also is able to combine this with other dragon elemental magic, unlocking Shadow Iron Dragon mode, which allows him to like become a shadow, attack from the shadows, and just have dark elemental stuff. And then you also have Kevin 11, who, I feel like we're a bit more familiar with. He has the kind of metal absorption stuff where he touches a substance, doesn't have to be metal, could be stone or wood, and his body kind of takes on the properties of those, and he also can do that with some alien DNA depending on like what version of Kevin 11 and what series he's in. Thematic comparisons are that both start out as like antagonists for their series, but then at some point get redeemed and end up becoming some of the closest bros to it because like of their protagonists, because like he and Natsu start off hating each other, and then if we get a talk no jutsu, and Gajeel ends up becoming like a fairy tale member, and he and Natsu kind of develop this like friendly rivalry, while Kevin and Ben 10 are basically like best bros by the end of like Alien Force, from going from like antagonists that showed up like every once in a while in the original show to being like one of the main heroic faces of the franchise. Thematically, I really like this one. I think they both do kind of good, well, elementally. I'm talking a little bit for the prompt just because Kevin can like turn into multiple different things, so it's not exactly like a metal on metal, but like that also plays into the dynamic of Kevin absorbs some metal from his car, and then Gajeel kind of like eats the coating off of him, and then he's like, that's not gonna work, and then switches to a different one, so that could play into like the fight. Like, I'm really fond of this one.
I think you've covered anything I would have said. I'd give this like a good. It's pretty.
I'd give it a great. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm putting this in great personally. Like, I really like it.
Alright, it's a great matchup.
Solgaleo
versus Amaterasu.
Jinx.
I think this idea makes sense on its front. It's like both sun-based animal fighters. I think it's cool. I think the biggest thing holding it back for me is I'm not sure how much of a personality we can really attribute to Solgaleo. I would say like the anime gives him like a bit, but I think even in the anime it's mostly just like another Avash's Pokemon for the most part. So it's like a fun, cool animal that doesn't have like a super specific personality, whereas Amaterasu has like a story and a character arc and all that.
Well, if you look at like the Sun and Moon games, like, spoiler alert for like a game that's really old now, Nebby ends up evolving into Solgaleo. So like all the like the mischievous behavior of that, and then having it evolve into like the noble Solgaleo could be pretty cool. Plus, using it to kind of like explore hyperspace. It definitely has a bit more of an arc that you could explore within the games of like maybe like a coming of age story, but I will like it's not as well of a fleshed out character as Amaterasu. That being said, I really do like the dynamic, the celestial brushes and like, all the ultra space stuff Solgaleo can do could make this really great. Although one ironic thing about Solgaleo is that in Pokemon, he's a steel psychic type. So, despite being like a sun deity, he's actually weak to fire.
Yeah.
Which has always kind of bothered me.
Is Amaterasu specifically a sun god? I thought it was the mother of all of the gods.
I mean, it is a sun god in
Shinto mythology.
I'm not sure about in Okami how heavy they are with the sun symbolism.
Like, symbolism-wise, Okami has like the sun stuff going on, but like in the games it also has like a lot of other stuff. Amaterasu can manipulate the winds. They got the cherry bombs, which are kind of plant based, and then like other stuff with like elements in life and whatnot. So it's kind of like a elemental like variety pack with Amaterasu.
Yeah, so like you can stop time and slash foes with like an ink pad. You can draw the sun in the sky to make it day. You can draw a moon to make it night. Uh, you can blow up things, place objects around. Um, and Amaterasu also has a shit ton of different like swords, shields that can be also used as an offensive ability, and like these giant whips. That all of them, each of them having different elemental attributes.
Hmm.
So I don't.
That could be cool because Toggle can have a bunch of different Pokemon moves of different types.
It sounds really interesting. I personally, I know Solgaleo doesn't have like a personality or story or whatever, but I still think I could write something cool with it. I would go great.
I would say I think you can't shake a stick at its fight dynamic, and like the main core theme is decently strong. I'd want it to have like a little bit more like thematics to parallel in Madara, so I'd probably put in okay.
Yeah, like I'm kind of torn because like the fight dynamic would be really cool, but like a character like Amaterasu, I think kind of warrants a bit more of a thematic one. But like, if we're just talking about like isolation, not thinking about alt or anything, I'll put this one in great just because I really like the dynamic fight wise between them, and it could be really cool.
So that would average out to good then.
Well, we got 2 greats and a good. That's a great.
No, we got 2 greats and an okay.
Oh,
yeah, that's true. That's fine. It's okay. Sherm just doesn't like good matchups, I guess. I don't know.
It's okay that Sherm's just kind of a anti-peak person. It's fine.
Bro, I was waiting for a hardcore insult with that pause. I was like, oh god, he's about to throw haymakers in the first round, bro. Anyway,
I mean, he is a self-admitted hater. Like he tried hating on BB Hood and versus Mustache Girl, but couldn't even back his bark last time. Like he kind of dug his own grave with that.
You want me to double down on a matchup that I don't care about?
No,
I was just saying the thoughts
let's
from my
let's
brain,
double
and then
down.
I gave up because I didn't care.
Then let's double down on Parthenax versus Iroh.
If we're
you mean how it's a peak matchup?
The thematics on this one are pretty sweet. I like the idea behind this one a lot because it's basically like the 2 people that did horrible, awful things, but then kind of grew to be like the moral focal point of the series. Like, there's that one meme of, like, the anime girl helping that one orphan, and then there's, like, a picture in the forefront of them in, like, a Nazi uniform. It's that meme, but with these 2.
Oh my god.
I think both it's crazy. Are very philosophical. They can have conversations. I like this. I'm kind of rocking with this idea.
I think it's kind of crazy when you think about the fact that in Laura, Iroh is just... back in the day was just, like, this amazing killer and was able to, like, subjugate towns nearly by himself. And I'm just like, that's fucking crazy. Because I think, didn't he take down a fortress alone in lore or something like that? Like, there was a whole, like, fortified thing, and he fucking just took it by himself.
I remember he broke out of prison on the day of the Black Sun by just being swole as fuck and, like, physically busted out of his jail cell and just beat up all the guards.
Yeah, no firebending. The straight-up hands escaped, like, a fortified prison. Like, he even took the one guard that was nice to him and did the, "You've always been nice to me. Don't come to work tomorrow.
Don't come to school tomorrow."
He literally said that. It's like, "You feel unwell. You should probably not be here tomorrow." And it's like, holy shit, Iroh.
I think the big thing is we've got a pretty sweet thematic parallel between these 2 guys. The big question is, like, can we tie any of that thematics to the actual fight between them? In the animation part, because it's like they have enough powers to bounce off each other. Like, they can fight, and the fight would look good. It's like Firebender throwing blast at the dragon, flying around, doing shouts. That makes sense to me. I'm just wondering, would we play into their how would we play into their philosophical insights while they're simultaneously fighting at full power?
Well, if you remember, Iroh is known as the Dragon of the West, and you get those thematics titles in the Fire Nation by killing dragons. So that could just open the door for the philosophical connections by, him bringing up like, oh, so you've killed some of my kind before, and then opening the topic of conversation of like all the horrible things they've done, and then like talking about life and philosophizing. So that is definitely something that you could add into the fight, which just chef's kiss. This is a easy amazing for me.
I mean, that again, that adds to the thematics, but I'm trying to think like, what would Iroh? How does the fight start? I guess if that's how we're opening it up, because that doesn't lead to a fight unless like Parthenax pulls aggro, which like he wouldn't.
Oh, Saul has crashed.
On the window.
Hi, Saul.
Opinions on Parthenax versus Iroh?
Yes.
Please regale me.
That's why I've broken in. So the one thing that I hope Clive doesn't mind, I don't think he will.
No, I'm good. I'm gonna turn you up on my end a little though.
I was gonna say I can't see the tier list. Funny enough.
I don't have it up
I'm
right now.
not sharing it, so I'm just watching it on the stream.
Oh, I feel like you can treat this as a like. I think a good thing to treat this is like both of these two worlds can kind of coexist, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that it?
Amazing. That's all I needed to know.
Is he still here?
What happened? Oh,
Oh, I think he's looking out.
So, okay, chuckle nuts. Calm down for a minute.
No.
So what I was saying is, before I lagged out, I don't know. Okay, so I feel like you can treat this as a general crossover where they both would have heard about each other.
Mm.
And I feel like that would lead into the philosophical conversation naturally because of that, right?
Right.
That's basically it. I think this matchup's great. It's my favorite for Iroh. I love it.
Yeah. And as far as like why they're fighting, we can always pull a Ryu and do like, oh, the truth will be revealed in the heart of battle, or something along those lines.
Iroh's kind of a hard one to justify a lot of fights anyway. Against more.
Like, I think the only one that's like a natural fight is like Asgore versus Iroh, but that's not on the tier list. We won't talk about it right now.
So like, yeah, that's my thoughts.
I think that sounds great.
In my brain, I am incapable of connecting the thematics to the fight potential, but everyone else says it's great, so I'll just trust y'all to know what you're talking about and put it in great.
I'm putting it in amazing.
What about you, Plime?
I put it in great.
Alright, so that's probably gonna be great then.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a 4.25, so that's great. That's
While we're
great.
on Avatar talk, Poe versus Ong.
And Saul has left. That was perfect. All right, but yeah. All right, I'll let you guys go on first, and then I'll go into my nitpicky thing about it being an elemental fight.
I mean,
man, you're really on edge about this whole stipulation thing.
Look, this is my topic. I came here looking for elements, and I get people cheating the rules. Of course I'm going to dock points.
And you're valid for that. I really don't know 100% how I feel about this, because I feel like Poe really works best against someone that is primarily like a hand-to-hand martial artist, and Aang can do that, but that's not even close to like his main thing. His main thing is like I'd say like Zuko is more of a melee fighter than Aang is. So I feel like Aang is too much of a zoner for this to mesh perfectly well in my brain, fight dynamic wise.
I don't know much about Poe, if I'm being honest. Does he fight using elements at all, or is he primarily hand to hand?
So
He has a
he's
couple of abilities.
yeah, he's primarily hand to hand, but in the third movie he gets access to chi, which he's able to like use to like create chi constructs like the chi dragon. And the guy said when submitting this that the main elemental theme for this one wasn't really any of Aang's other elements, but more of their like spirit bending abilities and chi. And I will say, just like ignoring the prompt, I do see the potential of like why you do these because like Aang and Poe kind of like share like a hero's journey of them having to grow into their roles because like Aang was kind of just said like one day you're the Avatar, and then he tried to run away from that, but then he eventually woke up, had to go in, and Poe he just stumbled in, became the Dragon Warrior, and just had to figure out on the fly how to live up to this title that was just granted to him. And then both of them being able to like stop their eventual baddies with chi techniques with like the wushu finger hold for Tai Long, and then eventually like the chi dragon thing with oh gosh, I'm forgetting the guy from the third movie with the bull, the water buffalo. Oh gosh, what's his name?
I don't
Sure,
know anything
help.
about it, so.
Which character are we talking about?
The villain from the third movie.
Kai?
Yeah, that one. And Kai, and then, Aang, obviously, with the spirit bending, take away Ozai's bending. So, like, I can see the potential for that. It is strange to... I would like a martial arts more for Poe, but in a vacuum, this is fine. I am going to dock points because why would you bring an Avatar fight into an elemental matchup and where the element is not even one of the things that they can do? So I'm gonna put this at okay.
Wait, hold on.
But
isn't Aang's whole shtick?
But if you weren't
elements?
worried about that, how would you rank it?
If I wasn't worried about that, I'd probably put it in good, just because like it has good thematics. The fight dynamic is a little weird, like you said before, if like Aang being more of an elemental firer and Poe being a martial artist. So like the dynamic is a little awkward, but you could make it work. So I'd put it at good. But lack of element, I'm putting it at okay.
In general,
how about you?
I think like it makes a lot of sense thematically. But I think like that is like the thing where it's like I'm not sure if I don't think their power sets are best suited against each other. I think they'd be better against a different type of combatant. But the thematics are still good, so I'll say it's like I'll put it in good.
I would also put it in good. So I think it could even out.
Yeah,
he says
it evens out in the good.
Still leads to good.
Well, we are making a Bill chart right now.
Piranha Plant versus Chomper. I'm already gonna put this in amazing on mine. You don't even need to talk about it.
I'll agree with that because Pin gave us $10 for that, so I'm also okay with it being an amazing.
Bro.
Wait, Pin didn't give us $10 for that.
He also said that was the second half of.
That was at the end of the Donkey Kong Crash bribe.
I'm okay with it being an amazing.
Alright, so unrelated to everything, would now be an inopportune time to say I don't really like minion fights that much.
Well, I'm assuming you would just take like a composite version of each of the plants in general, right? Kind of just
I don't know, it's just never been like one of those things that really clicked for me. Like on the surface I get it, there's a lot you could pull from. Piranha Plant is fun, and I'm sure Chomper is as well. It's just for me personally, like if I think about like, things I'd want to see and characters to explore, there's not a lot of character to explore there. I don't know, it just does not click with me personally.
I will say we were talking about Simo or Bewilder Beast or Solgaleo as more of like a documentary on the lore of their species, and Piranha Plant has more lore than them three put together by a wide margin. Piranha Plant has like so many appearances and so many things to talk about. I think Piranha Plant versus Chomper feels a lot different from any other potential Mario matchup or Plants vs Zombies matchup we could do, because I think focusing on that specific character feels a lot different than focusing on one of the main villains or protagonists. I do genuinely think it would be extremely interesting to look at and compare them. And the thematics are completely obvious. You get why immediately. I was going to put in great before Pin gave us $10, so bumping it up to amazing is no issue for me at all.
Yeah, like, and here's the thing. This isn't me saying that this matchup is bad by any means. Like, I see all the great in it, and I know that if we did it, it'd be really great. Like, I don't know. Something about this one has never really clicked with me. I'll put it at good, just because it's really great. It'd make for a great episode. I guess I just personally don't care for it.
I think that would even it out.
Normally that would average to great, but Pin did give us $10. So
please don't do this.
Amazing.
Are we doing this game right now?
Anti-money.
So next we
we have no integrity here.
And I think it should be an amazing.
We have full integrity
we have Pyro
here.
versus May next. So Pyro versus May's fun. It's like, funnily enough, it's like Pyro and May's biggest legacy matchup, despite the fact that most people prefer different ones for him these days. I think like it's the ice flamethrower versus the flamethrower. Their gameplay styles are similar. Their reputation in the communities are pretty similar as well. There have been rap battles. The comparison makes sense. I think it suffers a lot thematically just because, like, May has, like, an actual story, and Pyro is, like, a very mysterious, we don't know too much about him except for the fact that he's, like, insane. I would say, like, the biggest parallel you could say is, like, Pyro kind of has a little bit of found family and with the other mercenaries, whereas May is, like, kind of finds her place in Overwatch a little bit, but you could kind of say that about literally any Overwatch versus TF2 matchup.
Oh, it's an Overwatch character. Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would say, like, I don't know if y'all have any particular thoughts on it, but I would say, like, it seems fine. I put it in, like, where would I put it?
Like,
I think it's like a good for me. It's like I can see why it's a thing, and I kind of like. I would say like fight dynamic. It's probably one of Pyro's best.
Yeah, honestly, like, it's a very simple matchup, but that doesn't mean it's not a fun one. You know, you got the ice rays and the flamethrowers. You got, like, the, you know, TF2 versus Overwatch dynamic, so they play similarly. And, you know, it's just a, you know, it's very simple, but I feel like you could have a lot of fun with this one, you know, just, like, playing with, like, May's kind of, like, shyness demeanor, and then the Pyro, who, on the surface, is, like, this really intimidating, heartless monster, but through their own eyes, just somehow sees this as all playing. So I feel like you could lean into that with, like, May being like, oh my gosh, this person is a monster! Then cut to just, like, Pyro, just, like, in his Pyro vision, just, like, you know, everything is magic, you know, just vibing along with it. This is kind of like a personal guilty pleasure, so great.
Pyro has, like, a warped view of reality, where everything is, like, sunshine and rainbows, even though he's committing horrible atrocities. This isn't quite how it works, because even the other mercenaries who are trying to kill him look like fun, happy cherubs. But I think it'd be fun if we play into, like, the May joke, and in Pyro vision, May is, like, this, like, devil freezing all of, like, his fun cherub friends. Even though in reality, May's, like, a super nice person. I'd say, are you putting an okay plan if I saw you move it?
Well, that's just generally what I would do. I'm not a big fan of TF2 Overwatch, if I'm being honest.
Where are you putting
in general?
I'm putting it in great. Like, it's a simple one, but, like, I think it's effectively simple.
I guess that balances out to good, then.
Where are you putting it, Sure?
I said good, so that's just an okay, a good, and a great make it good.
This is almost an Amaterasu. Rayquaza versus Amatsu. Pokemon versus Monster Hunter. I think. Oh my God! Did I get the wrong monster? Hold on. I think it's Amatsu. Fuck.
Yeah, it's Amatsu.
I get that.
In,
This one and the one that you pushed confused a lot in my head.
yeah, because like the one I used to push was oh gosh, Fatalis, but like
Yeah.
I'll be honest, the more I hear about this one, it has a lot of the same things I like with Fatalis, but it has more thematic connections. Basically, they are both like uh serpentine dragons that command the wind and the storms. But they're also very territorial, and they're seen as gods. While Rayquaza is heralded by the Draconids people for being a great protector, the one who protected the Hoenn region from both Kyogre, Groudon, and like region-destroying meteor. Well, planet-destroying meteor, actually. Amatsu is kind of it's an elder dragon. They're not really known for playing nice, especially with humans. So it is a territorial destruction deity, and if you get into its airspace, it's going to wipe you out. And Rayquaza, while usually friendly, if you are someone who threatens nature or Deoxys for some reason, it is on-site violence. So yeah, like I really, really love this matchup. And side note, the thumbnail of like, the oil painting like style on the left and then the manga panel for Rayquaza, just oh my gosh, that looks so cool.
Yeah, I would put this in amazing. I think it's fucking sick, and it's probably my favorite Monster Hunter Pokemon idea right now.
I think this matchup makes sense, and I like the vibe of treating like Rayquaza as this folkloric, like epic deity in a Monster Hunter kind of vein. We've been good about this so far, not bringing it up at all this one, but if I'm being fully honest, the stomp aspect brings it down a little bit for me. Because like Rayquaza is like has arguments for being like the strongest Pokemon besides like Arceus against like just like the Monster Hunter verse is like such like for most Pokemon I can live with us not giving them the highest scaling, but like this is Rayquaza. If we limited it to like the planet level, star level metas, I'd be pretty bummed about that.
Isn't Darkrai stronger from stopping the Palkia Dialga and all that shit?
There's arguments that Rayquaza also scales to the Creation Trio and arguably might even do better than them.
Yeah, because like here's the thing with Darkrai scaling, he kind of scales to Dialga and Palkia in the sense that he was able to hold both of them off a little bit until both of them got serious, jumped him, and then he died, and then they went back to fighting each other. So kind of doesn't work. Rayquaza in his Mega form actually like one-shot Giratina and managed to hold his own against several other Creation Trio members and other thing. The Hoopa movie was stupid, but Rayquaza definitely outscales them. So
what the
it's
fuck
a stomp,
I
but
didn't
it would be
Rayquaza had a stronger form. What the fuck?
Mega Rayquaza is so cool, man.
Fuck. Mega Rayquaza is so awesome. I love it.
I've never heard of Mega Rayquaza before.
Okay, I am sending you a picture of it right now because that is a crime.
Is that Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon thing?
Movie. It's an anime movie thing, but also
that's Omega Ruby's Alpha. Yeah, you would have known that if you finished the game, Climb.
I did not finish the game because I thought it was bad.
Whoa.
Okay.
It'll take too long. We gotta move on.
Yeah. If we meet in real life, it's gonna be on site, man. It is going to be on site.
I'm gonna say this is an okay matchup because the stomp bothers me. If I'm being fully honest, yeah. Sorry.
It doesn't bother me as much as long as I can think of a cool fight dynamic that would make me smile. So I'm gonna still.
All right.
Zora said it's amazing, and you also said it's amazing, but my 2 brings it down to a 4, so it's great.
Why do you have to be such a hater, Sherb?
What the fuck? That's awesome as hell. What the hell?
I am honest. That's all. I just.
That's from the anime.
I'm just giving it.
Yeah. No, it's from the games. That's its official render. Like, and he mega evolves during the anime movie.
That's fucking sick as shit.
Yeah.
Right, Rayquaza is the coolest legendary. I just want a good Rayquaza.
He was Shamovin in the fight with like Kieram and like Dialga Palkia, and he was like, it was almost like he was a speedster. Like he'd like fight them, and then like they'd get knocked back before you even see what happened. They'd just be like a green line across the screen. Rukia versus Sean.
I mean, you guys know I would immediately put this up here, but
I'm cool with it being an amazing.
Just to explain it a little bit, because I feel like I talk about it, but I don't really explain it a lot. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, pop up.
Both are elemental fighters. Shauna is obviously based on fire, and Rukia is based on ice. They both get their abilities from different entities. Rukia's sword has a spirit that is like tied to her. I can't remember the name of the spirit off the top of my head. But that's what essentially gives her the ability to use ice. That's how, like, the name she calls in her Shikai Bankai is the soul that helps her fight, essentially. And Shauna, because she has a flame haze, she made a contract with someone named Alistair, who is represented by a pendant that's filled with fire. And that pendant is what gives her flame abilities. They both had broken rules from their societies. Both are part of different societies. Rukia, the Soul Society, and Shauna, the Flame Haze. Both of them deal in spirits in different ways. Rukia slays hollows, who are like monstrous spirits. By slaying them with a Zanpakuto, it like purifies them and sends them up to the afterlife properly. And she can also send wandering souls up there. Whereas Shauna, their souls work very differently. There's something called the Flame of Existence. If I'm spark notesing it. The Flame of Existence is everyone's soul, and once their soul burns out, like their flame goes out, it's like you never existed at all. Everyone forgets you and all that kind of stuff. Both of them broke rules from their societies. Rukia by giving powers, and Shauna by not killing. I think his name is Yuji. I can't remember. It's been a while. And then both of them ended up, both of the guys that they broke the rules to try to save ended up going against their own factions for different reasons and all that kind of stuff. I think it's really interesting thematically. I think it's interesting when you pair up the fact that they're different factions and how they deal with souls is very interesting, and I think it has a very fun fight dynamic with ice versus fire kind of stuff. And I don't know the debate or scaling, because obviously Bleach has a lot of different high and low ends that Rukia wouldn't be a part of. And Shauna, I don't know if any versus scaler has ever scaled that series, so I'm just unsure on how the debate would look. But yeah.
This is a 5 for me. I think it'd be really cool to cover an anime that almost no one else has, and you really like the matchup, and you've convinced me that we would cook. This is a 5 for me. This is an amazing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The only thing that holds this one back for me is just my general unfamiliarity with both characters, but like everything else just screams that this would be peak. I'm putting this at great, but that's going to be fine because it'll even out to amazing anyway.
Hell yeah. And now my throat hurts from talking so much. I don't know. What's this guy's name? The guy from Blue Exorcist? Rin versus Percy Jackson.
Yeah. We've had 3 fire versus ice matchups. Now we're really mixing up with a fire versus water matchup, which is hot.
Ooh.
I think this matchup's pretty fucking sick, actually. I think they have a very similar story where, like, they did it. Well, Percy is the son of Poseidon. Rin is the son of Satan. They didn't know that they were half-blood until they got attacked by one of the creatures of their world, where they realized that that was what that was. So then they had to go to the place to learn how to use their powers, the school in Blue Exorcist and Camp Half-Blood. They're both sword fighters, so like a sword fighter with fire powers versus a sword fighter with water powers works great. They both kind of have like stories about like how they're aggressive to like they're not friends, but they are really loyal and dedicated and charismatic to their friends. I think the fight dynamic is really sick. There's one idea I really like where Rin can make like an absolutely absurdly giant fire sword, but Percy can make like really big water hands. So I think it'd be cool if we did that thing where like someone's swinging the fire sword and the big water hands come up to like clap the fire sword to keep it from hitting Percy. I think that'd be cool. Percy can make a water trident, so I think it'd be very ironic if like Rin was defeated by like a water trident, because he's the son of Sidon. Trident are supposed to be his thing. They both have animal companions. Rin has like this really big cat, and Percy has Mrs. O'Leary and Blackjack, so you could have like either big cat versus big dog, or you could have Percy trying to fly on his Pegasus away from the big cat. Yeah, this matchup kind of is perfect and does everything I could possibly want for either of them. I'd put it in amazing.
You kind of sold me. I don't know enough, but I'll put it in great.
Yeah, I'll put it in great too. Like, again, like it sounds great on the surface. I don't know either of these guys, so I can't really bring myself to put something in amazing where I don't really know the guys. But this definitely sounds like a great idea. Oh, we broke the bell curve.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Susano versus Thor.
Oh, this is my other suggestion for this one. All right, so this is Thor from Norse mythology versus Susano from Shinto mythology. And the big one for this one is that these are the iconic storm gods from their respective regions. And they're also known for being kind of like a bit more rude and boisterous compared to like the others in the pantheon. You know, Thor just kind of, he's one of the strongest gods outside of Odin, so he kind of has like this, you know, nothing can touch me attitude about him, so he just kind of does what he wants, and no one can really stop him because of how powerful he is. And then Susano has a bit of a different story, because, like, you know, one guy kind of disrespected him at a dinner party, so he had the very rational reaction of chopping his fucking head off. And this banished him from heaven for a little bit, and he had to go on a quest just to kind of like redeem himself. But they also have some cool other connections. Both of them have beef with a giant serpentine creature in their mythologies. Thor's rival being Jormungandr, one of Loki's sons, the world serpent. And Susano having beef with Orochi. His most iconic one is like getting Orochi drunk and then cutting off all his heads. And then they also both have legendary weapons that help them wield the storms. Thor with the iconic hammer Mjolnir, and Susano with the I forget what it's called, but it's like the Stormblade. It's one of the 3 treasures.
Why did your comment show up as my username? Sure.
Because I'm your editor.
Oh, right. I was like, what do you mean? What the fuck? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
People have noticed that I moved Chomp and Piranha Plant down and like 2 minutes ago.
I was wondering when he was going to notice that.
It's supposed to be an amazing, not great.
Not it. Non-bias is great.
Actually,
anyway,
didn't 2 of us put it in amazing? Yeah, it should go in amazing, I think. Right? I'm confused.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
but I put it in good. So I think, doesn't that average out to great?
No, I think you put in okay. What made
I did put it in okay.
Freaking
bias.
All right.
Right.
Let's go back to this.
Yeah. Back to
Thor is pretty cool for me. I think it'd be really cool to cover these mythologies and compare them. It'd be super unique and fun. So I'd give it a great.
Yeah. One more thing I want to mention with it is just like the start and ending of the fight just comes very naturally. Because like we could just have the Norse and the Shinto gods at like a dinner party. And then Thor, being his boisterous self, is just making an ass of himself, being like, more sake! With Susano getting insulted starting the fight. And then no matter who wins, both of them are just like, hey, that was fun. And then Amaterasu just kind of goes up to both of them, just kind of like, you know, doing that thing where when you're upset, you're just kind of like tapping your toe and being like, so, which one of you are going to clean up this mess? Pans back to the royal area and the dinner party completely destroyed, and both of them being in the doghouse, which I think would be a very funny way to end it.
That does sound fun.
Yeah, so yeah, bias, I'm putting this in amazing.
I put it in great.
So, I think that equals out to great.
And our last one, finishing right on time for me to start dinner. Crocodile versus Giovanni Potage. Sorry, Giovanni from Team Rocket.
not Giovanni Patage.
Different
Giovanni,
character.
no last name, like Prince or Madonna. Giovanni versus Crocodile is pretty freaking sweet to me. Because they're both like this. They're both like mob bosses, which I think is like a really cool like character archetype that we almost never have an opportunity to like feature in fights. So it'd be really cool. Crocodile is a Logia user, so he's intangible unless you have a way to attack something spiritually, or if you have a attack that specifically counters his element, like a Pokemon type. Giovanni supposedly has one Pokemon that knows Surf. I was looking earlier and I couldn't find it.
It's his Rhydon. His Rhydon knows Surf.
In what game? Because I looked at all the.
I think it was from the anime.
Well, great, because we're using the game, so he doesn't have that. This would use the game canon primarily with, like... I think we could use, like, Origins, because that's clearly, like, an animation adaptation of the game. But even without Water-type moves, he still has... His Nidoking and his Honchkrow have Ghost-type moves, which I imagine should work on a Logia, because they're, like, spiritual moves in nature. So I think those attacks would work on him. But anyway, I think this idea is really cool because they're like ground-themed mob bosses who, using kind of Origins as a basis, they both kind of wanted to become the Pirate King and the champion. But then when they were, eventually they settled for what they are now because of unknown circumstances. Well, not unknown. Crocodile got his ass kicked by Whitebeard. Now they're just kind of like, in the world of Pokemon and One Piece, kind of carved out their own little niche for them. I think there's also some very interesting comparisons you can draw between their relationship with Luffy and Red, where they kind of saw them as like a younger version of themselves and saw a lot of parallels between them. Obviously, Red and Luffy didn't see these parallels. This was more of like an introspection kind of thing for them. I think the fight dynamic would be really cool, where a lot of Giovanni's Pokemon attacks just do not work at all. But, like, he would have, like, the Ghost-type moves, which work. Giovanni would obviously have, like, 6 Pokemon, but Crocodile has, like, these wide AoE attacks that could attack all of them. Like, he can make a giant, like, desert whirlpool to, like, suck people in. Giovanni could, like, have his Honchkrow grab him and pull him out of the way and keep him safe. I think this matchup is extremely cool. Debate-wise, I think it's interesting because I don't know who would be faster. Probably Crocodile, but I can see arguments for Giovanni being faster. Apparently, Pokemon has absurd speed feats. Giovanni probably outstats, but Crocodile has like better hacks, and it's also just hard to kill in general. So I don't know who would win. I think it'd be really interesting depending on how we look into it. I love this idea. This is an amazing for me.
I'm gonna put it in good or great.
All right. I'm gonna say great. Just I really like this one dynamically. Does not quite hit, but one thing I do want to bring up is just I think it would be really cool because like Crocodile also has like in his casino a bunch of like pet like crocodiles, so I feel like that would be a fun thing to do early on, just to have him sick his pets at Giovanni and have them go at it with his Pokemon.
That'd be funny.
But yeah, I will put this at great just because like I really like it. I don't know if it's like there are definitely some little hiccups that hold it back. Specifically, if Crocodile just turns into sand, goes to Giovanni, and then Poison Hook, that would be a very anticlimactic end to the fight.
I think that'd be cool if that was like the final blow, though.
Oh, yeah.
How's everyone feeling about the list we made today?
Well, wait, where are we putting Giovanni Crocodile?
Oh, we put in great. Me, Zoro said great. You said amazing.
Oh, okay. I don't remember you saying that. Okay.
Honestly, this is a perfect tier list considering what we had. Right now, without any more alterations, like I feel like we've done everything for these matchups the best we could.
It's alright. I
like
already
it.
screen capped it when I had the correct ranking for everything. So
Fuck. All right. If everything was proper, it would be like this, I believe. Yeah, I think none of them in. That's pretty good.
Yeah, despite my best effort.
Literally, this is only in okay because we don't have too much information. If we had more information, it would be higher than that.
Yeah.
What do you mean if we had more information? Or are we talking about because they're barely in the series?
Yeah,
that we have no information.
You're like theoretically it's cool, but like there's not much.
Yeah,
there.
because they're like, I don't even think I would describe them as side characters. They are minor characters generously.
Okay, but kaiju battles are cool.
Okay, that's an entire genre of matchups with thousands of options to pick from. Not every kaiju battle gets to be great just because it's a kaiju battle.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stop so I can make dinner. We'll see you all later. I'll probably say hi in the Discord later today if I have time.
Bye. You can
See
direct your hate
ya.
at me if we said something you didn't like.
All right, bye-bye.